G'day Gooners, and welcome to another episode of the post-match pod. I wish we were meeting on better terms, really, but we are here to discuss the 3-2 defeat at home to Manchester United. Obviously, not really the performance or the result we wanted or expected, but needless to say, we must march on. We can obviously break down the game in further detail, and absolutely we will do. But in context of the whole season, listen now, we're still 4 points clear at the top of the league. Obviously, Villa and City both won this weekend, which isn't great for us. But it's not all doom and gloom, is the point I'm trying to make. Listen, this time last week, if we had actually just gone and got some points against Forest, we actually could have been sat here 9 points ahead before this game even started. So, listen, there's pros and cons on either side. Obviously, super disappointing not to win, and the performance was just dreadful. I thought we were flat all over the pitch, even when we were 1-0 up. Although we were pretty much dominant, we never really looked like scoring goals, and it might be a problem that we really do have long term, and it's something that we've sort of struggled with in terms of chance creation for a few seasons now, especially in those central areas. You look just how United scored their goals, and all of them came from penetrating in central areas and combinations, and something you would sort of you would sort of relate to Arsenal teams of old, maybe under Wenger, and maybe under Wenger we didn't have the defensive structure that this Mikel Arteta team really does have, but we did have creative players who love receiving the ball in difficult areas and turning on the half turn and playing 1-2s. And obviously you think of the great goals that we've scored in the past. I don't know, the Jack Wilshere one against Norwich really does scream out to me, but there's been plenty more. Thomas Rosicky against Sunderland, one-touch football in that zone 14 area, and we sort of avoid it, and it's really, really frustrating. I don't really know why we do it. Obviously there must be something to it. Everything Arteta does, there's always a reason, but I guess let's break down the game in slightly more detail. Obviously we started the game with David Raya at right back. We had Timber, centre backs Gabriel and Saliba. At left back, Hincapié came in after a spell on the sidelines. I don't think Calafiori was just fit enough to make this game. I guess questions from me would be more, what did Lewis Skelly do to not deserve to start this game, especially when Hincapié has been injured? I understand it if it's Calafiori coming back in. Obviously, he is the number one choice, but I actually think Lewis Skelly played quite well against Inter Milan, so I thought that was really, really harsh. In front of him, ZUBIMENDI in the 6 after playing 90 minutes against Inter Milan, so that's maybe another talking point we could have. The Inter Milan game wasn't necessarily a game that we had to win. Obviously, we are unbeaten in Europe. We're top of the table, and we were going to qualify in first or second place. So did ZUBIMENDI really have to play 90 minutes midweek? The answer is probably not. But he had Declan Rice to his left and Martin Odegaard, our captain, to his right. The front three was Saka on the right, as expected, with Trossard on the left-hand side. But he actually decided to go with Gabi Jesus up top. Now, I didn't think he would do that. I could see the pros and the cons, and what Gabi Jesus can do really well for us is really come deep and receive those balls in the half turns and link play, and obviously his work rate is obviously good. He's more of a natural footballer than Victor Gyökeres is, but I don't know, I feel like for a striker's confidence, he's supposed to be the bagsman of this team, the £65 million signing. For the big games, you should really, really be starting your best striker, which in my opinion is Victor Gyökeres if Kai is not fit. But listen, I was still feeling confident going into the game, to be honest with you. I thought that lineup was definitely good enough to go get a positive result, especially in front of the Emirates crowd. But to be honest with you, we started the game quite well. I mean, listen, it wasn't overwhelmingly impressive, but I thought we did control pretty much every aspect of the game, and we had free kicks here and there. I think Man United were trying to waste time almost from kickoff, going down really easily from challenges, making niggly fouls on us, taking a long time from throw-ins, that sort of thing. It's very, very frustrating that teams do tend to come to the Emirates, and they do exactly that. But I guess we have to expect it, and we have to set the tempo ourselves. Now, Obviously, it took 28 minutes for us to break the deadlock. It came from the left-hand side. Hincapié sort of crossed the ball in. I think Dorgu managed to get his head on it. Ball came to Saka. Saka played a nice little cross into Martin Odegaard, who I think mishit it, but had to be in the right place at the right time, which he absolutely was. And the ball sort of came towards where Timber was. I don't even know why Timber was in that area, but he often is. And the ball sort of deflected off Lisandro Martinez and went in, and we were 1-0 up within 28 minutes. So I guess our dominance really did prove, vital in that time, and we made the most of it, which was brilliant. And after that period, we really should have just gone from strength to strength. I think we weren't really playing fast enough. I felt like for the first 15-20 minutes we were quite zippy and we were moving the ball pretty quickly, but I don't know, we had certain situations. I remember one where I guess Martin Odegaard did win the ball back, and the ball sort of ricocheted to him. He played a nice ball in between the lines to Declan Rice, who ran onto it. We were then 4v2. To me, this is the area where we do always struggle. I see the best teams in the world, the Manchester Cities, the Barcelonas, the Bayern Munichs, and when they're 4 versus 2, it's almost always at least a shot on target or a goal. And the reason being is because obviously they've got the numerical advantage, but also the quality of players in that area and the decision making from those players. Now, Declan Rice is a world-class player in my opinion, absolutely, but I really do think in this area he does struggle slightly. And he drove forward and he had options to his left. I think it was Trossard who he could have played through on goal. I think Jesus directly in front of him, and he had I believe Odegaard was there or thereabouts, but on the right hand side it actually was William Saliba, and that was the route that he decided to take, which I thought was the wrong one. And obviously Saliba cuts the ball back for Declan Rice, who instead of meeting the ball, sort of taking a touch and then striking, wanted to strike first time, and the shot got blocked. And I feel like I'd have to look this up, I guess later down the line or later down the line, but we always get our shots blocked, and I think that's because we're not very good at creating separation, just like other teams are, or we just don't have the quality in those areas to really create high XG, high quality chances. But unfortunately, our lead did not last very long because we weren't able to sustain that pressure or to, I guess, improve on it. Another unforced error, another goal we just give away. And like, how many times can we say this in the Arteta era? I know the way that we play is, I guess, maybe risky, but I actually don't think it is, to be honest with you. I think we're quite risk averse in most areas. But usually when we do make a mistake, it usually leads to a high XG chance, and usually teams in the Premier League especially make the most of it and they tuck it away. And obviously we were sort of recycling the ball, and Saliba plays a pass out into ZUBIMENDI, which wasn't a great pass. I won't lie to you. It wasn't, the way it passed wasn't brilliant, and the direction was slightly not onto his foot. But instead of really just taking a touch out of his foot, out of his feet even, and playing sort of forward, Saliba obviously plays the ball into ZUBIMENDI, and instead of playing the ball forward, ZUBIMENDI tries to play the ball first time into David Raya. Obviously doesn't get the connection that he would like, and we're seeing Brian Mbeumo gets 1v1 with the keeper, and obviously he does the rest. He was very calm and composed, takes the ball around David Raya and tucks the ball into the back of the net, and we go into half time at 1-0. And I was really, really agitated, really angry with the first half, just because it's so typical. Every time we give away a chance, give away a really, I guess, a sloppy error, an unenforced error, you may call it. It usually leads to a goal, and it did again. I know ZUBIMENDI, I think he did something similar against Spurs, if I remember correctly. Super frustrating. I'm sure the coaching staff were equally as agitated, and the fans were as well. A couple of boos there at half time, which I don't know what really to think of it. I guess, I don't know, a lot of match going fans pay a lot of money to go and see them every week, home and away, and the performance that they really put on for us really wasn't good enough in such a high magnitude game. But needless to say, they came out in the second half, and I guess we couldn't really build on any sort of momentum. I mean, the momentum was lost, and who built on it? Well, it was Man United, wasn't it? And I mean, we can talk about the quality of the goal. We can talk about what led to the goal. I think that obviously they did exactly what I would like us to do. There was combinations in the middle of the park from Dorgu and from Bruno Fernandes, who I thought had quite a good game in the number 10 position for Man United. But it was almost like a 1-2-3-4 instead of a 1-2, and then the rest was just ridiculous. I mean, it was a half volley, and it was one of those where as soon as the ball left his left foot, you just knew it was going to hit the bar and just go down, and instead of go out, it was of course going to go bounce straight into the back of the net. And we're 2-1 down within 49, 50 minutes, and it's just like, give yourself a chance, lads. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's super frustrating. And again, another super low XG chance, and the ball just goes straight into the top corner. It's like, when do we ever do that? I mean, I guess the moments you can really refer to are the Declan Rice free kicks against Real Madrid. But I can't really remember a time since then that we've been able to do it. Like, we just don't really have those players who can make a chance out of absolutely nothing. Maybe a Berriese, but he's sat there on the bench for the first 60 minutes of the game. Really, really annoying, really frustrating. And I guess the performance level really didn't pick up. Passes were so sloppy. The intensity wasn't there. We just didn't really look like we wanted to be there, to be honest. And after 60 minutes, Arteta had enough, and he made a quadruple substitution, which was the first time I've ever seen him do that. We've seen him make half-time subs, maybe a double substitution after 60, but 4 players at once. Obviously, Martin Odegaard, our captain, came off. I guess we can talk about his performance in more detail at a later date. Who else came off? Hincapié came off, obviously coming back from injury. Didn't have the best of games. Zubimendi, again, made the mistake for the goal, and I just thought he was sloppy all game, really didn't have a good game. He came off as well. And Gabby Jesus came off after the 60-minute mark. So, 4 changes. Gyökeres comes on at the number 9 position. Marino and Eze come on playing as 2 number 8s, with Declan Rice playing slightly deeper in the number 6 position. And Ben White goes over to his natural right-hand side, right back, and Timber comes over to the left-hand side. Now, after that change, you think that the performance and the intensity would go up, and in spurts you did see it, and you got to feel bad for Ben White, because I thought he played quite well. He was overlapping, he was inverting, he was making runs beyond the last man and creating space, and you just got to think, like, why did he not play? Especially, listen, I made the argument just before that Lewis Skelly didn't deserve not to play, but equally you could say Ben White also deserved to play. I mean, he's been playing quite well over the last couple of weeks. So, super frustrating, and the performance level didn't really improve, but we did sort of create half chances here and there. After 70 minutes, I thought that, Marino had a shot from outside the box. I think Gyökeres sort of received a long ball, muscled Lisandro Martinez out the way, and the ball kind of ricochets somehow to Marino, who takes a shot. Now, I thought Harry Maguire here was sort of displaying his best impression of a good goalkeeper. I mean, to me, that's just quite an obvious handball. Went to VAR, they didn't deem it to be an unnatural position for someone falling over. To me, if the ball hits your hand in that area and you're falling over and you're looking pretty clumsy whilst doing it, to me it's a handball. I've seen them given, is the point I'm trying to make. I've definitely seen them given. Equally, if it was given, I could see why United fans would be quite agitated by that decision, but at the same time, that would, to me, was going to be one of the only ways we'd get back into the game, because we just weren't playing the ball in central areas. Like, I keep on saying it, but it's so frustrating. Like, we just don't do it, and I don't understand why. Like, we force the ball into wide areas and hope Saka can produce some magic. And like this season, to be honest with you, he just hasn't been able to do that. Not at the same rate as he was last season. And it was just very, very lackluster, and United made some changes as well. Benjamin Sesko comes on. I actually thought, to be honest with you, in the middle of the park they played quite well. I thought Kobbie Mainoo had a good game. Casemiro was pretty good off the ball. Again, one of those players who just dives around the pitch and just wins niggly fouls, similar to what Granit Xhaka used to do when he used to play for us. You love it when he's on your team, but when he's against you, it's super frustrating. I guess that sort of led us on to our equaliser, and it came out of nowhere. Again, obviously another set piece. I think that's our 20th set piece goal of the season, which is just outrageous. We are so dominant from those situations, and it's pretty nuts, to be honest with you. But ball comes in from Saka. I think we had actually a corner prior to it. Noni Madueke at this point, I think, had come on for Leandro Trossard, and Saka goes onto the left-hand side, which personally I didn't understand. I thought Saka was probably our best player, causing the most trouble. And to move him onto his unfavoured left-hand side, to me, made no sense whatsoever. But I guess it's just another way that we could, I guess, cross the ball in with a natural left footer. But I thought Noni Madueke could probably do that, having fresh legs as well. I actually thought Saka had the beating of Luke Shaw most of the time. So anyway, that ball comes in from Saka, and ball sort of ricochets to Mikel Merino, and he's there again, which is sort of unbelievable. And reason I say that is Mikel Merino has scored so many goals for us in clutch moments just like that. I mean, the Newcastle one springs to mind when we needed to get back into the game, and he was the one who sort of got the finishing touch. And after 84 minutes, we're back 2-2, and we're in the ascendancy again, and you could really feel the energy in the stadium go up. You could see that even on the TV. And yeah, what happened next? We just, instead of really playing the fixture and those minutes, sometimes in games you just have to take the sting out for a few minutes, and obviously emotions are high, and it seemed like they were playing off emotion, which is it's so frustrating. 2 minutes later, obviously Matheus Cunha had also come on at this point. He grabs the ball in that area where he is so potent and was so much so for so long for Wolves. And I said to myself, well, I think I said it out loud, I said, oh no, as soon as he got the ball, because the amount of times and the amount of goals he's scored from that area. And he, again, an amazing strike, to be fair to him, like really, really good. Puts it straight in the bottom corner. Raya literally could not get to it. And that seemed to be the winning goal. And Man United go 3-2 up at the Emirates after 86 minutes, and they managed to hold on. We honestly didn't look like scoring after that. It was pretty depressing to watch. Noni Madueke went on a few positive runs, but as I guess the story that we always have with Noni Madueke is his end product, and the end product was poor. He just didn't manage to, I guess, cross or shoot from those positions. It was depressing. It was very, very depressing. Obviously, the final whistle goes. We lose 3-2. Context of the game, obviously, we're still 4 points clear of the top of the Premier League, like I said at the beginning. So it's not the end of the world, but I don't know. The performance was so poor, and I guess our statistics in the big games this season compared to the previous 2 or 3 have been super poor, super poor. And it's going to make a big difference, especially for the energy of the squad, for the momentum. Like, we just don't have any. Obviously, that's three games in a row in the Premier League where we've dropped points. That's our first loss at home in the Premier League this season. They have to go back to the drawing board, I guess. I mean, to me, the main issue that really does need to be fixed is that creation issue. And it's from wide areas, but it's also mainly from central areas. Again, as good as the transfer window was, obviously bringing in Eze late on after the Havertz injury, obviously Gyökeres in the front line, Madueke as well. To me, title winners just have better attackers than we do. Like, obviously Saka is world class, no doubts about it. Trossard, to me, his role last season was just about right for Trossard. A really, really good 12th man to come off the bench and to change a game. But that left wing position was a position that we really needed to reinforce in the summer with real quality. We've now just let Antoine Semenyo go to Man City, along with obviously Mark Gahey, and they just look like a revitalised side. Obviously, Semenyo having scored 3 in his last 4, and I think he scored another goal that was called offside. he just looks like a natural born finisher, left foot, right foot. He can just do it all, and it's super frustrating because that is the type of player, Premier League proven, who I would have just absolutely loved in this Arsenal side. And yes, could Eze do that role on the left-hand side? Absolutely, and I think he probably should do. But for whatever reason, Arteta's not trusting him to do that role to a high standard. So, that's pretty disappointing for me. In terms of the number 9 position, you're relying on a player who used to, at Sporting Lisbon, have wing-backs and therefore have left-footed players playing on the left-hand side, crossing from the left-hand side, so he could run onto it, and the same with the right-hand side. With us, we have Bukayo Saka, who starts himself on the right-hand side, cuts inside most of the time. When he crosses it on his right foot, it's never usually with the same, quality. And same with Martinelli and Trossard on the left-hand side. They're both right-footed. So we're clearly not doing something to suit, or we're clearly not doing things that suit Victor Gyökeres. Obviously, Havertz has been out for a long time. Again, wasn't in the squad today, which I was quite surprised. I thought he trained this week. And Jesus, when the pressure's off in that game against Inter Milan, he comes up trumps, and it's often the case with Jesus. When it really, really matters, after his injury, the big one, obviously, before the World Cup, maybe before that, for the 6 months that he joined, after he joined, he was unbelievable for us. But after that, he really hasn't been the same player, and he comes up here and there when it doesn't really matter. But when it really, really matters, we need our number 9 to really do something special. He unfortunately didn't have the minerals for it, and I think we should probably speak about Martin Odegaard and him coming off after 60 minutes again. Listen, I think he's becoming a scapegoat for a lot of Arsenal fans. We went into half-time 1-0. He'd been sort of the one who created the goal. Obviously, it wasn't a perfect technique, but he was the one who did it. Zubimendi makes an individual error, and I'm having it in my group chat. Arsenal fans talk about Odegaard's performance, especially when everything good that we did, albeit it wasn't that much, but everything good almost came from his side. Him and Saka just sort of playing the ball through the lines or playing the ball out wide, nice and quick with quality. I know one of the first passes Odegaard made was a beautiful drilled pass into Hincapié from the right hand side all the way over to the left, but. Yeah, he lost the ball in some areas, but you're going to have that. When your main creator is trying to create chances, you're going to have, misplaced passes or over-hit passes. You're going to have that. Alexis Sanchez used to do it all the time for us. He used to score loads of goals, get loads of assists, but he lost the ball so many times during a game. And it's the same with Bruno Fernandes, actually. Even during this game, everyone will talk about the good things Bruno did leading up to the Dorgu goal, for example. But he gave the ball away so much. But that's what creative players do. You rely on them to be the difference makers and to create chances. And I personally think that he didn't have enough time on the pitch to really do that. I would have loved to see him play the full 90. But also I would have loved to see him play with Eze. 2 number 8s, properly creative players. Both, feeding off of each other and playing 1-2s, little combinations centrally. They haven't really had the chance to work together. So that's something that I'd really, really like to see in the future. But yeah, it definitely wasn't his best performance by any stretch of the imagination. And also he had 90 minutes rest in midweek. So you would have thought he would have been really, really fresh and raring to go. But again, I thought off the ball he actually did really well. He leads the press for us. He's an intensive guy. He made a few sliding challenges in the first half. But again, lost the ball a few times as well and was out-strengthened in certain situations and out-muscled. But it can't all be on him, It has to be the responsibility of a collective. And I think Arteta really does have answers to really give in terms of the way that we are playing, the way that we are attacking, There needs to be a balance between defensive structure, defensive stability, and also creating really high quality chances. And we are at the moment not towing the line in a balanced way. We're defensively sound in some games. Obviously, yesterday or this morning, not so much. Although the statistics will tell you the story of 0.98 xG for Man United, 3 shots on goal and 3 goals. So we didn't really concede much, but at the same time, we really didn't create much either. And that's my frustration. It's really the energy and the conviction and the quality. It's more the quality of passes in between those lines and in difficult areas. I know there was one time where Declan Rice, the ball sort of came to him. I think we were down 2-1, or maybe it was 2-2 at this stage. And instead of playing a nice sort of flat pass into, I think it was Marino and maybe Ben White who were in that sort of half space area, he decides to hit the ball first time and the ball goes over. It's just that little invention that we're really missing at the moment. And I don't really know where it's going to come from. If it doesn't come from Odegaard, we do look sort of void for ideas, especially when Eze's not on the pitch. And even with Eze, he hasn't really performed to a particularly high standard in the last few months, really, since the Spurs game. So, it's super frustrating result. Pretty poor performance. But again, context is super important. We're still at the top of the Premier League. We're top of the Champions League. We just got to bounce back, and that's really as simple as that. And midweek we've got Carrick, who is in the Champions League, who are currently sat bottom of the Champions League table. So to me, what I expect for that game is, we've got to rotate heavily. I'm expecting all the youngsters to get games. Obviously Wanyeri's now gone on loan to Marseille. It was good to see him scoring his debut. Really, really good goal from him. I hope he just goes and gets all that development that he really needs to come back next season firing. But as for that game, all the young players playing, heavily rotated squad, so we can go again for Leeds away at the weekend. And that's a really tough game. Obviously going to Ellen Road, really good side. I've got a few mates here in Melbourne who are big Leeds fans, so shout out to Stevie and to Matty and to Collie as well. But it's going to be a big game. We need to bounce back. We need to go and get the 3 points. It's as simple as that. I guess in terms of Man United, where it leaves them, they're now in the top 4. They've leapfrogged Liverpool, which is, if you said that to me at the start of the season, I would have politely told you to F off. Really, really good. Really, really good. They look a totally different side under Michael Carrick, so fair play to them. Massive result for them. Back-to-back wins after beating Man City and then beating us. They're really looking good. And whilst necessarily the performance level wasn't top class, they've got serious, dangerous players. I compared their front four in Mateus Cunha, who didn't even start the game today, but Brian Mbeumo, Bruno Fernandes, Ahmad, Sesko. The list sort of goes on. They have serious quality in those forward areas. And when I compare it with us, we really only have Bukayo Saka. Obviously, Victor Gyökeres has that European pedigree, but at the same time, in an Arsenal shirt, he really hasn't shown the levels. Definite question marks when it comes to us, but fair play to United. You got to hand it to them. You got to take defeat gracefully, and I'm trying to do that, although it's super frustrating. But at the same time, we're 4 points clear at the top of the Premier League. We need to bounce back, and I hope we do that. And obviously Carrick midweek is the perfect place to start. But I guess that's really all from me. I don't really have much more to say. It's a super frustrating morning. Obviously it was a 3:30 a.m. kickoff for myself. And I was busy editing the video from the Inter Milan game. Obviously had a few technical issues with that one. So hopefully by the time this one goes up, that one will also be up on YouTube. But please continue with the support. We really appreciate it. Obviously, Cal's in Japan having a great time. But we're here. We're still breaking down performances and results, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So like, subscribe, share, comment, and all that good stuff. And absolutely, last but not least, please do not forget to have a good day, Gooners. Thank you.